Hello, good morning. How are you all doing? I'm sure some of you have had a bit of a hectic morning getting kids settled and to where they need to be. I have done the same and just closed my studio door, and here I am. I'm really excited to be chatting with Reena today. She'll be joining us in just a moment. Reena is one of our Mama Reset trainers. She's also a postpartum coach. Hello, Reena. And so we are super, super excited to have her chat. She's coming in 1 second. Hi. Hello, Sherry. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Just running tech support
Oh, yeah.
over here. You know.
I absolutely do know. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that I just heard my kids' teacher be like, it's just the internet. The internet is, and so everybody's experiencing, hi, look at all these people. Oh, is that your
Hello.
husband?
Nope.
Oh, it's
Nope.
another chef. Hello. Wow, so amazing to have you here, Reena. I know life is busy right now for you and for
Yes.
a lot of us. So how have you been doing? How are you feeling these days?
Oh, you know. That's what I say to
Mm-hmm.
everybody. You know.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Reena. How are you? Yeah, exactly.
I am
Let's get
surviving.
to the
Just
real
like
talk. How are we
everybody.
all really doing?
We are surviving, and I'm really grateful. I have my littlest in daycare 2 days a week. Those are my 2 days of saving grace, and yeah, that's all we can ask for, right? So,
Absolutely. Um, I've been seeing you do lots of, living room workouts,
right here
and I
in
even
my
saw
studio.
a full barbell workout in your basement.
Yes.
So what has been helping you yourself kind of cope with some of this? And has exercise and movement been a big part of that?
Absolutely. Like, physical activity has been an outlet for me my entire life, in one form or another. And right now it is fitness. And that's part of why we have the setup in the basement that we do. My husband was getting tired of not having access to a gym where he was going before. And so we figured we're not going on vacation anytime soon. Like, let's just
Mm-hmm.
invest in this for us. And it is now my favorite part of the week where I can sneak downstairs for an hour and just let it all out.
Yeah.
All the rage just goes into the bar, which is great for me in other ways. So
That is a really interesting thing to talk about when we're thinking about like high intensity, that maybe sometimes we think high intensity is purely for, I don't know, like strength building or for, I don't know, whatever the case these people like you get from lifting. But there's such a mental component to it.
mhm.
And the more that I start to lift not heavier weights, but like heavier weights, the more I feel so much more powerful,
Mhm.
and like you can really feel that mental shift when you start kind of using that external weight.
For sure. And like when you're lifting your body weight, for example, or even half of your body weight, you don't have the capacity to be thinking about your grocery list or the shitstorm happening upstairs. Like,
Yeah.
otherwise you're going to hurt yourself. you know so the mental clarity and focus it requires, I think, is part of the whole experience that really gives you that space to be in that moment, because nothing else matters at that moment other than getting that bar up or pushing it or lifting whatever it is, right? Like, and for me, that's a big piece of it, is that my mind almost turns off in a way. It's like meditative in a way, right? Because I'm focused just solely on lifting that weight versus actually like all the chaos that's going on around me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
want to just backtrack a little bit because a lot of people have joined. So I think some of you probably know Reena. Some of you maybe she is new. Reena is an amazing postpartum fitness coach here in Toronto, and she's also a Mama Reset trainer, and we are so happy to have her. I love doing your classes. You know who loves doing your classes? My husband loves doing your classes. Reena has a Run Well program on our site, and I am not a runner, but I love the classes. And I think that we can talk to how those types of movements are still really great for people who don't run, but also in terms of this heavy lifting that we're talking about. Conditioning alert on my so Reena, we are super excited to have some new content from you coming up.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're working on, and then we'll jump into this broader subject of like heavy lifting and high intensity training?
Well, I think, so the Run Well program is great for anyone who's into strength training. And, I love doing high impact workouts. That's how I got into fitness in the first place, was high intensity training. And a lot of that went away, because I started training weights really seriously like a couple of years ago, and then I got pregnant and then postpartum. And so cutting back to it has been a road and a half. And now I'm finally starting to feel comfortable in my body and have the capability to do it. And there's a variety of reasons, right? All the good symptoms that pop up for women in postpartum. And so I was toying with the idea of bringing some kind of athletic conditioning workout or a series or something like that to the Mama Reset that focuses on like high intensity athletic conditioning. So not just for runners, but anyone that loves to just have like a quick hit workout, a really solid sweat session, something to complement your strength training, and just like really get those endorphins going. Because we need a lot of endorphins right now.
Yes.
We all need it. But also let's get you ready for the spring, because let's hope that this summer we'll actually be able to get outdoors and, maybe play some recreational sports or start going for runs, with a running buddy and all of that stuff that we have to look forward to. So let's get you ready. But the conditioning can happen in your living room.
Yes. That's
with very minimal equipment.
To you this morning. I'm like, not everybody's got the barbell situation set up in their basement. We can't go to gyms right now here in Canada. But like you're saying, this is a really great time to focus on those foundational pieces that are going to help you get there when that's appropriate or when that's available to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So these kind of foundational pieces, what do you envision and how people should kind of focus on this to get ready for that high intensity stuff? What do you feel like is really needed in our bodies to help us prepare for that?
In postpartum, you mean?
Yeah.
Or just generally, Laura, you and I can talk about this all day, right? Is building that strong foundation with your core and your pelvic floor and the breathing and all of that, which is all available on the Mama Reset. There's some excellent resources and workouts there to complement you. And I think if you're feeling ready and if your body is telling you that it's ready, then it might just mean that you can try something a little higher intensity. So maybe increasing your weights, maybe moving a little bit faster through some of the reps, taking a progression option where, instead of like high knee marches, you're actually starting to run a little bit on the spot. How does it feel? And I think the big piece here is bridging that gap, is really understanding what feedback is your body giving you.
Yeah.
And so are you feeling pain or discomfort anywhere? Are you leaking at all, even just a little bit? Are you feeling pressure, in your pelvic area? Like really paying attention to that kind of feedback during and even like in the 24 hours after a workout. I find that sometimes I can get through a workout symptom free, and then like an hour later, I'm like, oh, well, there's that symptom. And I have 2 low-grade prolapses, so I will feel symptomatic from time to time. And it takes a lot of mental conditioning to kind of get over the hump that something's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. And what we have to understand is that our body is just giving us feedback. That's all it is. It's saying, we may not be ready for this intensity yet. So all we have to do is take a step back. And so for me, the journey has really been taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But the reality is I'm still moving forward. And I'm almost 2 years postpartum. And I can say now I'm ready to do more plyometric type movements. So like jumping lunges, jump squats. And I'm not worried about my vag, like I'm not worried about it. And often that fear is what holds us back from actually taking a step forward. So I think just shifting that mindset to what is my body ready for and what is it not ready for? And you know what? If something happens during your workout, you're not making anything worse.
Yeah.
By trying one movement or one workout, it's feedback. So we can stop and reassess.
I love that. That's a real yogic principle as well, of like being aware of what our body is saying and what our body is telling us, and not viewing that as a negative thing, but that's a positive feedback that we're just learning how to navigate it a little bit better, and make the choices that are right for us. And that's a big thing at Mama Reset, is that we're not prescriptive and saying, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this, but learn what's happening in your body and what your body is telling you, so you can, make those choices that's right for you. And that might be different depending on fatigue, tension in your body, stress, yeah,
which is a lot right now for a lot of people. And I think the other piece of that is, there's complementary stuff too. So if something's not working for you today, that's totally okay. And that's the beauty about Mama Reset, is I can say, I need some more core and pelvic floor stuff today, because that's kind of what my body needs. And this is more than just that general blanket statement of listen to your body, because I feel like that's just so like, it's just such a general statement, but understand that there's feedback, and what strategies now can you implement? Too, right? And so if this high intensity workout is a little too high intensity, let's find something else on the app that's going to give us something a little less intense, but still give us the same kind of feeling. Right. And so that's the other part of it. Like, what feeling are we chasing? Are we chasing endorphins? Are we chasing sweat? Are we chasing strength? And let's find a workout that kind of fits within what we're looking for today.
Totally. So I think that right there is a great, number 1 point. What are you looking to get out of this? What does your body need? And how can you find that same feeling, but within what's appropriate for you? And that might change. And that's definitely what you are trying to do, I'm sure, with your own programs, and definitely what you do on Mama Reset for us.
Someone's saying there, that's one of the main reasons I've stuck with Mama Reset. Shorter workouts, I can try to see how I feel. And if it doesn't hurt, I know I can do it again and keep adding others. Well, there you go.
Amazing. Okay, so what are some kind of foundational principles for rebuilding safely? We just talked about a lot there in terms of kind of figuring out what it is that you're looking for, but what would be some kind of principles that you would speak to for trying to rebuild up to that higher intensity?
Yeah, and I think that it goes back to exactly what we just talked about is, if you're starting from core and pelvic floor stuff, that's totally okay. Just start there and rebuild slowly. So when things start to get boring, if you're still doing, those mat rehab exercises and you're just thinking about your grocery list, it's time to move on.
Nice, yes.
Getting over that fear of progression too. It's a mindset, right? And
I've been there for sure, and it sounds like you have too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's totally normal to be scared, but again, understanding that if something does happen, that this is not going to halt your progress. And that mindset shift is really big. And so rebuilding a strong core, understanding your breath and movement patterns will help you create strategies that work for you. And then that's when we can start building the intensity. So you start adding a little bit of weight. You can add a progressive movement, so maybe trying a combination movement, and then eventually, if you're so inclined, you can start adding more power and plyometrics type stuff to your workouts. And that goes with somebody, for example, who wants to start running again, right? So we say, don't go out there at 6 weeks postpartum and just run like 5K, but start small. So start with a walk, and then when you're ready, and if the walks feel good, because after my first pregnancy, I couldn't walk for 90 minutes without feeling an excruciating amount of pain in my pelvis, which is so bizarre, right? At that time, I was like, what is happening? So if the walks feel good, then you start intervals. So then we can walk for 2 minutes, run for 15 or even 30 seconds, walk again. And it's kind of like you're training again, right? For like a 5 or 10K, it's that same kind of progression. And that the same thing goes with lifting weights. But we can't be afraid of it. And we can't be afraid of what our bodies are going to tell us. And we can't let that get us down.
Make a t-shirt that says that. That's my new thing, everybody. I just want to make t-shirts for everything.
Can we just what? Okay, we're canceling the reset. We're making t-shirts now.
We're making t-shirts. That's it.
Oh, thanks, Steve. He says, great info. Your body is giving you feedback. Listen, assess, and don't beat yourself up. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Don't beat yourself up. You're not broken. You're not broken. We're not broken.
I think in the postpartum world, that maybe not that you're broken, but we really heard this narrative around we need lay on your back, restore your core. Like we can't add any bigger movements until you feel like, and we kind of I felt really scared to progress beyond that, and that I had to, I don't know, have this bulletproof core before I could do, I mean, we're not even talking high intensity. We're just talking like, I don't know, a regular workout.
Like body weight squats and
like
lunges. Yeah.
Squats. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
a good point. You don't need a bulletproof core. You don't need it. You don't need a bulletproof core in order to do basic movement patterns. Right?
And when actually, like, yes, your core certainly needs to be at a place where you can start handling that. But we really do feel like we have already talked about there's going to be changes in your life that are going to affect your core. Just like any other muscle gets overworked or gets underworked. I got to jump off, but have a great...
Bye, Steve. Thanks for joining.
Amazing. So we really think that, you know, you kind of have to come back to those fundamental pieces.
Yes.
And not just say, well, my core is good to go and I'm just going off. And that may happen for some people, but for a lot of women, exactly. No other part of your body is expected to never have an off day. Exactly. Yeah. Like your neck, gets tense, your calf gets a weird thing because you went walking too long in a weird shoe or something like that. Yeah. Our bodies do kind of flare up in different ways from time to time. And so your pelvic floor is no different. And so we really do think these kind of conditioning movements like mobility and like you said, coming back to your breath are super important regardless kind of where you are in your journey.
Totally. I'm 2 years postpartum and I'm still doing breath work before I lift. Yeah. Like that's part of my routine now, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to lift it. And I already know that my symptoms are just going to be like, hey, here we are. Like, here's your prolapse. Like, I know my body now and the feedback that it gives me. And so what it tells me is that, Reena, you really need to dedicate that 5 or 10 minutes to mobilize, to breathe, to turn on your core and to turn on like your glutes and your lats and whatever else before you go and lift that bar. Otherwise, I'm not going to be happy. Like, that's just it. My pelvic floor just will not be happy, and that's okay. So I have to respect that and say, all right, I hear you. Let's do this. And I'll hum and haw and warm up. It'll take me an hour sometimes, but I'll do it. And I don't love it, but I have to do it. And so, it's just accepting that that's my reality, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, I can still go and do what I want to do. And for me, that's enough.
And that is literally like, what is the purpose of just doing something super freaking hard and challenging if you can't do anything because your body is just like dead from that workout? Like if you can't play with your kids and you can't do the things that you need to do, like that to me is a challenge.
Totally. And we
Maybe
have to
not ideal.
consider too that, like, you know, we are told, well, don't do any high intensity if you have a prolapse, or don't lift anything heavy if you leak. And it's like, but okay, but my toddler is like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Like a barbell is 45 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, and with a toddler, we're doing squats, we're bending over, we're doing agility movements, right?
Yeah.
To like stop them from running into the wall. Like, these are all things that we do day to day. So let's train those movements with a little bit more stability and intentional movement, really,
Yes.
to be able to actually execute those things without the fear of hurting our back or whatever else may happen, you know?
Totally. Okay. Do you have, this is not something we planned, everybody, so I'm sorry. But I'm just thinking of a very short 3 sequence kind of like, is there an exercise you love that's maybe a bit higher intensity, and some ways to kind of build up to that? Or like you were saying, if you did, I don't know, plyometric lunge jumpy things, and that wasn't feeling great in your body, what would be some other ways to kind of scale that back a little bit, but still get that feeling of like, you know, strength?
That's a really good question. And so for me, push-ups, I love push-ups. If you see my videos, I'm always doing push-ups.
You are a killer at push-ups.
But that's years of training, right? And so for somebody who's never been able to do push-ups on their toes, like, you start on the wall and then you progress. And so then I say, okay, well, if the wall feels easy, let's go to your kitchen counter, because that's a really good height. And then if that feels good, then you go to a coffee table or a sturdy ottoman. And if that feels good, let's go down to the floor and let's try for 3. And so again, even with something like plyometrics, if the jump itself doesn't feel good, you can mimic that same kind of movement. So maybe coming up on your toes or moving a little bit faster through those lunges. And you're still building a sweat. And even if you're going for time or reps or whatever it is, you can increase that just a little bit if those feel really good to you and you like the sensation that you're getting and you're feeling really good about it. And that's how you build, right? So if the jumps don't feel good, let's go back and let's try on coming up on my tippy toes. And if that doesn't feel good, then I'm just going to try and work on, you know, my range of motion with my squat to get more power through my legs. Like, there's so many different roads that you can take. And as coaches, we can talk about this forever, right? And all the variables. So be open to different strategies. That's all the other strategies. So be open to different strategies and do what works for you. I don't care what, you know, so-and-so down the block is doing, or X influencer is doing. Like, that's their journey, and you have to follow yours, right? There's no one size fits all solution.
Yeah. I think that's another really great piece is building, because I think a lot of the time our frustration comes when we go to an exercise that we just go to the full thing.
Yeah.
Go, I'm going to start doing push-ups on the floor. Oh my gosh, I can't do it. I don't have, you know, the upper body strength. And so we just don't do it. We just think, or we do and we struggle through it and we have pain and discomfort in our body, versus kind of finding an alternative way to do it and feel really successful and kind of really nail that and then add on. So I think, like, as much as we said, like, kind of don't be afraid to push yourself and try something more. Also, don't be afraid to pull back and try an alternative way that helps you feel really successful and strong so that you can progress it.
Because, yes. Do not feel defeated if something that's super high intensity doesn't work for you today. Like, it doesn't mean we won't get there.
Fully say I hate push-ups, and do I ever do push-ups on the wall? No, because I'm like, frick it. I'm going to do push-ups on the ground. I can totally do this. And then I struggle and I hate every moment of it. And I never do it, instead of just being like, why don't I build in a different place? So that's great advice. I really love that. Besides your work at Mama Reset, what have you got on the go right now?
So speaking of bridging that gap, I have just launched my new course called Baby to Barbell, coached by yours truly. It's an 8-week program designed to help you move away from those boring rehabilitative exercises that are getting too easy for you to lifting weights. again, safely and effectively. And so if you have any concerns, if you have worries, if you have pelvic floor things happening and you're not sure how to kind of move past that into safely lifting again, this program might be a really great fit for you.
And this is a live coach program?
Yes. Yep. So you get access to my community, you get access to me, and everything is delivered to you online via an app with video tutorials for every exercise and progressions over the course of 8 weeks.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great. If you are a Mama member at Mama Reset, you can check out Reena's current videos up there. There's 5 of them. We know you'll love them. Do them with your, like, they're really nice, easy to follow. I wouldn't, like, they're not easy to do, but they're easy to follow. And so I find that even my kids can really enjoy this stuff because it's pretty straightforward and kind of like repetitive in a good way. It's like a routine that you can kind of get into. So give those a try. They're really fun.
And I love that your partner's into them too. So that's
yes,
good.
Absolutely. Like I said, my husband loves them. And I think he just also maybe doesn't love listening to me teach more classes. He listens to me enough on a regular basis.
Fair.
But we are so happy to have those on there, and we cannot wait for more strength and conditioning.
I'm so excited.
I have the heaviest weights I own are 8 pounds.
Yes.
So I really hinted at Christmas that I wanted some heavier weights. That didn't happen. So I'm going to probably double what I got kicking in my house because you and Dara have inspired me greatly.
Yes.
So I am on that track to higher intensity for me, strength training. So if you have any questions, please head over to Reena or us. You can always continue to comment here. But please follow Reena. She is a wealth of knowledge, inspirational, real. She's got great workouts on her. And I think she also has a little extra something that she can share with you over on her
Yes,
page.
I do. That's coming in my stories right after this.
Okay, great. So go check that out. And thank you for taking this time this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's a busy, stressful.
This is a good distraction because I'm just ignoring whatever chaos is happening.
That's my general level of parenting right now. Is just it's not, it's not the worst parenting strategy.
Nope. I'm assuming my child is still on his class, but I actually don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks so much
for joining us. That was super helpful, and I absolutely love your encouraging and inspiring
thank you.
message.
We're all on the same mission here, right? Yeah. So check out my stories. I'm going to be sharing something special with you guys over on my stories right after this. And my DMs are open. So if you have questions about anything we talked about today, feel free to slide into my DMs and we can chat.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll wrap that up by saying Mama Reset is only open for registration until Sunday. Mm-hmm. So we only open the doors 2 to 3 times a year. And we have hundreds of videos in there, from strength training and dumbbells to yoga and bar and core. So we would love to have you. We have a 2-week free trial.
Yes, get on that.
Go and follow Reena. She's got a special little gift for you over there. But only a few more days to get in on this, and it's 2 weeks free. You can cancel at any time. You can check out all of Reena's workouts, and we would love to have you there. So let us know if you have any questions about that.
All right. Have a great day. Good luck to all the
friends.
parents right now who are balancing work and virtual and everything else.
I think we all need that extra little intensity in our lives to kind of
lots of love.
Yeah.
Bye,
okay,
Laura.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.